Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Some years ago, one of my clients was holding on to some tech stock that had been a losing investment. She was pretty reluctant to give it up because the company was owned by a political figure that she admired. The same client, um, several years later, inherited some highly speculative and essentially worthless shares in a mining exploration company. A few years later, the value of those shares soared. Now, both investments, one failed, the other successful, held significant emotional value for the client. And the important point is that neither outcome had anything to do with her attachment. Both were due to a variety of factors like larger economic drivers, company management, and shifts in the marketplace. Investing in line with your beliefs, whether about social issues, environmental concerns, or politics, can feel principled and emotionally satisfying. But markets don't care about our convictions. I've written previously about the downsides of mixing politics with investing. This warning is reinforced by a recent Axios article by Felix Salmon that tracked the results of investments strongly tied to President Trump. It provides a rare real-world case study in investing as an expression of political loyalty. In 2025, everyday investors had an unprecedented opportunity to invest directly in a sitting president's business empire. The two most accessible vehicles were shares of Trump Media and Technology Group, the ticker is TMTG, and the official Trump cryptocurrency meme coin. Axios showed how those particular investments performed. From the day that Trump took office through the end of 2025, Trump Media shares fell 67%. An investor who put $1,000 into Trump Media on January 19, 2025, would have ended the year with about $331. Now, over that same period, the NASDAQ rose about 18%. So a $1,000 investment there would have been roughly $1,184 a year later. The more diversified Global X social media ETF, similar to a mutual fund, which actually owned, amongst many other companies, Trump Media, rose 27%, turning $1,000 into approximately $1,272. So even an ETF that diluted Trump Media with dozens of other holdings dramatically outperformed a direct political bet on the company. Now, crypto investors saw even worse results. The official Trump meme coin surged immediately after its January 17th launch, and then it collapsed. By the year's end, it was down 89% from January 19th. A $1,000 investment on that date would have fallen to about $114. For the same comparison's sake, a Dogecoin fell 67% over that same period. So that $1,000 investment went down to about $327. The global cryptocurrency market overall declined 16%. So $1,000 investment, you would have had $842, both significantly outshining the Trump meme coin. This pattern shows that the investments most tightly tied to political enthusiasm perform the worst. This is where behavioral finance really matters. Political investing activates powerful emotions around certainty and loyalty and identity and a desire to belong to a winning team. The internal parts holding those emotions are persuasive and confident. They tell us this isn't speculation. This is obvious. But rarely is anything obvious to markets. In the Axios article, they also pointed out that while many retail investors lost money, President Trump and his family, they reportedly did very well. And this outcome isn't unique to this situation. In speculative markets, insiders and early participants often prosper, while the later arriving retail investors absorb most of the risk. Belief in the cause doesn't change the math. Values do matter in investing. There are thoughtful, diversified ways to align portfolios with environmental, social, or governance priorities. The danger comes when investing becomes an expression of identity rather than a strategy for long-term financial health. Politics amplifies emotional certainty and biases, while investing requires emotional restraint. When these two collide, restraint usually loses. So before putting money behind a political belief, I think it's worth asking one simple question. If this investment had nothing to do with my values, would I still buy it? Think about that. Thanks for listening.